Sup, man? Welcome to the Redneck's Guide to Amaterasu. Amaterasu was the first Japanese god to be released, and she is a warrior and a powerful one at that. She can be built in many different ways as an attacker, as a bruiser, as a super tank. She can be built a lot of different ways, and she is very excellent no matter how you choose to play her. She's a little bit more complicated than some warriors, but with a little bit of practice, you can really nail down some of her best attributes and swing that sword across the battlefield. However, before we get to that, let's take a look at her lore. So Amaterasu is the Shinto goddess of the sun. She is the morning light that brings warmth and all life to the islands of Japan and the rest of the world. See, the problem is her siblings kind of jealous of her, namely Susanoo, who was the bringer of storms. And he didn't like the fact that she got to be the goddess of the sun. She was the life giver. She brought all the warmth and the culture. That's not fair. How come he didn't get to do that? So in his jealousy and his rage, he burned down all her rice fields and destroyed the sacred looms of her people. And Amaterasu, seeing what her brother Susanoo had done, became grief-stricken and sealed herself away in a cave. Now, she stayed there for a really long time, and while she was there, the sun didn't rise no more. It was eternal night. And everybody else outside's like, man, we got to do something about this, man. We just can't be night all the time. It's so damn cold. We need some of that sun to come back. How are we going to get Amaterasu out of there? Well, can we go and force her out? No, she's a goddess. We can't really do that. Okay, so can we just call her out? No, that didn't work. All right, I got an idea. Let's throw a mad rave with beats so pumping, nobody could resist the need to shake their booty. And they're like, all right, that sounds like a plan. So they started a huge party. And eventually, Amaterasu came outside, or Amaterasu was curious. And she said, man, what is going on? What are those pumping jams? I got to figure it out. So she looked cautiously outside of her cave, but all she saw was this polished bronze mirror. And remember, she's the goddess of the sun. So her reflection was so brilliant, she was blinded by it. And she had to creep further out to find out what was going on. Eventually, as she got outside, hands came and grabbed her and pulled her out of the cave. And they were like, finally you're out! Now let's have some raving good times. And she was like, all right. So she started to pump them jams. You know what I'm saying? So that is the story of, weirdly, how Amaterasu came out of the cave and joined the rest of the pantheon. Now we're going to look at how to take a look at all of her jamming beats and how she's going to use the power of the sun to wreck some fools' faces. Know what I mean? Starting with her abilities. So her passive, Illuminating Strike, is a very interesting passive. What it is as she hits enemies with basic attacks, they gain stacks of Illuminate, or well, basically. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but they gain stacks. Once they have 3 stacks, they take 10% more damage from all sources. So once you land 3 basic attacks on an enemy, they now take 10% more damage from all sources, including your own attacks and abilities, but also the abilities of everybody else. And, oh wait, that's not all. It gets better. It also is going to affect every enemy within 30 units of the illuminated enemy. So if you can just land 3 basic attacks on one of the enemies, all other enemies within 30 units are also going to get that 10% damage vulnerability. That's pretty freaking sweet. That's going to make you one hell of a frontliner. The enemy is not going to be able to afford to just stand up to your sword swipes because they're going to make their whole team vulnerable. And that can be pretty scary. So you're going to use that Illuminating Strike to highlight some enemies and make sure that you deal as much damage as you can, along with your allies. Now, if we take a look at her passive, let's take a look at her first ability, which is a stance change. Now, what this is there are 2 stances. There are the stance of valor and the stance of benevolence. You begin the game in benevolence. What benevolence does is it gives you 5 to 25% more movement speed for you and all allies within 30 units of you. This is freaking fantastic, because what this means is that while benevolence is active, and it will show being yellow, There'll be a yellow circle under you showing that you're in benevolence. You and all allies move 5 to 25% faster. That is freaking amazing. And remember, this is a stance. This has no duration on it. It lasts forever. So when you need to really chase somebody down or you need to get the hell out of there, you can switch to Benevolence Aura, and it will allow you and all your teammates to really haul ass across the map. That's what I'm talking about. It is very, very difficult to get away from Amaterasu while she is in benevolence, and hard to get away from her team while we're talking about it. The other stance is going to be Valor. Valor is the red stance. When there's a red circle under you, you're in Valor stance. But when you're in Valor stance, you're going to grant 15 to 35 additional power to you and all nearby allies within 30 units. So that means while Valor is active, you and all your allies are going to do more damage. So now you got to pick. Do you want more movement speed or do you want more damage? Well, the answer to that is if you need to get the hell out of there or you need to really dive in or you're chasing somebody down, you're going to be in benevolence. But as soon as you catch up to them, or especially if you're in a team fight, you're going to switch to Valor so you can give you and your allies more damage for the team fight. Knowing what stance you're in is really important. You need to be aware of your stance. If you are in the wrong stance, that can get you killed. Because sometimes you need more power, sometimes you need more movement speed. You need to keep track of that. So be very aware of your stance. It does have a cooldown as well of 9 seconds. So once you switch stances, you can't switch back for another 9 seconds. Unless you got some cooldown, then it's a little bit shorter. Additionally, whenever you switch stances, you're going to heal from 15 to 55 plus 5% of your physical power once every second for 4 seconds. Now that's pretty dang sweet. It's not a lot of healing, but it is a pretty decent amount. It's gonna keep you in there. At max, you're gonna get 220 healing over 4 seconds. That's nothing to sneeze at. So you can use your Divine Presence to switch stances. Whenever you do, get a little bit of healing back. Not too shabby. But remember, learn what stance you are in. It is really important. So, after we've looked at her first ability, which is her stance switch of Divine Presence, let's take a look at her second ability, which is Heavenly Reflection. Now, Heavenly Reflection is a cool little ability. What it's going to do is when you activate it, you're going to get damage mitigation. From 3 to 15% of all damage dealt is going to be mitigated. And as you take damage and as you deal damage, you're going to build up charge on your shield. Now, at the end of 5 seconds, you will release that charge and it will go out and deal damage from 50 to 210 plus 60% of your physical power. However, as you build charge on your mirror, once you that damage is going to go up, and at max, that's going to give you an additional 50 to 210 power. So that means a max charge shield at full levels does 420 plus 60% of your physical power. That is a ton of power. That is a ton of power. So, and you notice the scaling isn't that huge, but the base damage is so large that you can really deal a significant amount of damage even without the most tremendous scaling available. So keep that in mind. What you're going to basically do is when you need to absorb some damage, you can activate your mirror to give yourself 3 to 15% more damage mitigation. Absorb some of that damage and just reflect it right back at them. There's a combo to use Heavenly Reflection with your ultimate, but we'll get to that when we talk about the ultimate. It also has a cost of 70 to 90, so it ain't cheap, and it has a cooldown of 14 seconds, so you can't just spam this thing, but it'll be there when you need it, so keep track of it and use it when you really need to use it. It can also be used for wave clear, obviously, because it is going to go out in a line and it will pass through enemies. So now we've taken a look at Heavenly Reflection, let's take a look at the third ability, which is Glorious Charge. Now this is a pretty dang cool ability. What Glorious Charge is it's a dash. It's going to go through enemy minions and will stop at the first god you hit. Now when you hit, it's going to deal 70 to 310 plus 60% of your physical power and damage. Additionally, it is also going to silence the god you hit for 1 second. What that means is you can use your dash to dash in on a god that's channeling an ability, and it is going to just silence them right the hell out of that ability. That is what I am talking about. You can use Glorious Charge to really throw some peel on some people. You know what I'm saying? Anubis channeling Stank Breath, cancel it out. Somebody, Nox channeling Harut, cancel it out. Guan Yu can't doing his whirly blades, cancel it out. That's what I'm talking about. Glorious Charge is really good at that. And the 1 second silence means that's 1 second where they can't use their leaps or other means of getting away from you. So use Glorious Charge in order to silence people out of their abilities, deal some damage to them, and really put some control down there on the battlefield. Also, since it's a dash, you can use it both to initiate and to escape. It does have a rather long cooldown at 18 seconds, though, so don't just, use it willy-nilly. Be aware of what you're doing and how you're using it. Now that we've taken a look at her Glorious Charge, let's take a look at her ultimate, which is so dang sweet, and it is Dazzling Offensive. Now, the old school Smite players might recognize that this ultimate was actually Guan Yu's original ultimate, and they brought it back because it was just too dang cool to leave on the shelves collecting dust. You know what I'm saying? What it's going to do is when you activate it, you're going to become CC immune, and then you're going to go up into the air. Well, not into the air, but you're going to spin around, and you're going to make 3 strikes in a cone in front of you, extending out to 35 units. And you're going to deal damage from 75 to 275 plus 50% of your physical power with that strike. You will then strike 2 additional times. Now, here's where it gets a little bit complicated. As you hit, if you hit an enemy, the next hit will do more damage and slow. If you hit with the second one, your next hit will do even more damage and stun. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to hit the same enemy all 3 times, but you do have to hit an enemy every time to get the stun on the end. That includes minions. If you know you're going to miss the god, just hit a minion to keep the combo going. You got to keep the combo going. At all costs, you have to land that stun on your final hit, or else the ultimate's really not that useful. I mean, it's not bad, but what is basically, so the first hit, you're just going to deal damage. The second hit is going to slow by, it actually doesn't say how much it slows by, but I believe it's 25%. It's going to slow by 25% for 2 seconds. And then the third hit is going to stun their ass. Stun every enemy hit by it for 2 seconds. That is a long ass stun. And if you've ever been hit by it, you know that that is one hell of a stun if you get hit by it. And it can also stun all enemies in a cone. So it is really freaking nice. It does a pretty huge amount of damage, but you gotta land those combos. Now I mentioned there was a combo with your ultimate and Heavenly Reflection. Now remember, Heavenly Reflection not only absorbs damage that you take, but it also will absorb damage you deal. Well, not absorb, but it will gain charge as you deal damage. The easiest way to do this, activate your Heavenly Reflection, charge in, use Dazzling Offensive. What that's going to do is, or you can dash in, use Heavenly Reflection, then use your ultimate. But basically, you want to activate your mirror right before you activate your ultimate. That means that all the damage you're going to be doing with your ultimate is going to charge into that mirror. And once you stun those enemies with the final hit of your ultimate, they're now just sitting ducks for a fully charged mirror blast. That is what I am talking about. So that is how you're going to use the basic combo of activate mirror, use Dazzling Offensive. Now, obviously, Dazzling Offensive is more effective when you are in Valor stance and you're getting that 15 to 35 bonus power from the Valor stance. Your movement speed isn't really that useful in Dazzling Offensive. I'm not exactly sure if it even does anything when you're in your ultimate, but even if it does, it's not that much of a noticeable difference. You are dancing around after all. What you really need is that Valor. You want that extra power. So if you can, be in Valor stance when you activate Dazzling Offensive, because that's also going to buff your mirror, getting that extra 35 power. So keep that in mind. Now that we've taken a look at our abilities, let's take a look at how we're going to build Amaterasu. So Amaterasu can be built in 3 general ways, or best. She can be built as an ultra super tank because her abilities don't have a lot of scaling, but their base damage is really high. And actually, if you can believe it, they used to be a lot higher. So you could actually build her for virtually no power and go straight into super tank. And that is what this is going to, and well, I'm not going to show you what that looks like. If you're really interested, leave a comment below and I'll explain how that build works. It's really just your item choices. You can build her as an auto attacker because your basic attack hits on the third hit is going to cause them to take 10% more damage. You can go for an auto attack build to really capitalize on that damage bonus. Or you can go for a bruiser build, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. An ability-based build. Something that'll give you some tankiness, but also allow you to deal out some serious damage with your abilities. Now, obviously, what we're going to be going for is we're going to try and maintain a healthy level of tankiness while still going for a lot of ability damage, and that can be a difficult thing to balance. What we want is a lot of cooldown, so we're going to be looking at how to build tanky items that also give us power and cooldown potential, and there are quite a few of those. The first thing you're going to get in the bruiser build is the warrior tabi. I know, you guys. Surprise, surprise. I tell you, get the warrior tabi. But it's just that dang good. Now, the ninja tabi did get an upgrade in a most recent patch, and it's a pretty nice upgrade. But I haven't covered a god that can really capitalize on that yet, so we're going to stick to warrior tabi. Physical power, movement speed, you know the deal. It's awesome. Just get it. Now, after you get your warrior tabi, we're actually going to pick up a defensive item first. And there are two basic options you can choose here. If you want to go for, and it's not on here for some reason, if you want to go for an early game threatening build, you can go for Mystical Mail. Mystical Mail is going to give you 300 health, which is pretty dang nice, 40 physical protection, which is also pretty dang nice, but it's also going to deal 40 magical damage per second to enemies within 25 units of you, which is pretty dang nice. That means as long as you are up in the thick of things, you're just constantly dealing damage. Now, the problem with Mystical Mail is the 40 damage per second is really nice in the early game, and it's okay in the mid game. But by the time it gets to late game, it's not that useful. I mean, you still got the health and physical protection, but it's generally not that useful to have 40 damage per second when enemies have like 2,000 health, you know? Not going to do that much. So I am not going to get Mystical Mail because while it is an excellent early game option, I want something that can last more throughout the rest of the entire battle. You know, it's going to be useful no matter where you are. And that item, my friends, is Hide of the Urchin. So Hide of the Urchin is going to give you 35 physical and magical protection, as well as 250 health and 250 mana. This thing has got it all, except for power and cooldown. But it's got physical protection, magical protection, health, mana. This is a resource monger. But it gets even better. And that is, the passive is whenever you get an assist or kill on an enemy god, you're going to gain a stack on this item. And what each stack does is it gives you an additional 3 magical and physical protection. Which means that once you get 10 kills or assists, that's physical and magical protection is going to go up to 65. Now think about that for a second. 65 physical, 65 magical, 250 health, and 250 mana for $2,400. Man, that is freaking awesome. Now you do need to pick it up early in the game if you can, because you're going to want to get those stacks early, especially playing a tankier person. You want to get those stacks as fast as you can. Hide the Urchin is just freaking awesome, and we're going to go ahead and get it as our second option. Now, after you get Hide of the Urchin, the next item you're going to get is Jotun's Wrath. And you can go either way here. You can do Breastplate of Valor instead, but if you do that, you're going to be losing a lot of power, and we want that power. So we're going to do Jotun's Wrath. The 40 physical power, 150 mana, 10 physical penetration, and 20% cooldown reduction. It's just got it all. It's got the pen, the mana, the power, the CDR. It's just got everything. It is exactly what we are looking for in terms of letting us use our abilities more often and getting a little bit more oomph out of them. So Jotun's Wrath is definitely going to be our third item. Now, our fourth and fifth items are a little interesting. And you can get them in either order. then that's going to be Ankyle and Shield of Regrowth. You can get them in either order. I usually end up getting Ankyle first because mages tend to be a bigger problem, and I'll get to that in a second. But let's just say you get Shield of Regrowth first because the passive is pretty nice. What Shield of Regrowth is going to do is give you 30 physical power, 30 physical protection, and another 10% cooldown reduction. But the nice little icing on that cake is whenever you heal yourself, you're going to gain 35% more movement speed for 4 seconds. And remember, you heal yourself whenever you change stances. So that means when you change to Benevolence, you're getting that 25% movement speed increase and then a 35% movement speed increase for 4 seconds. That is just so much movement, it is ridiculous. And when you switch to Valor, you're still getting a nice movement speed bonus for 4 seconds. Now, that can only occur once every 10 seconds, so you can't just switch stances all the time. You know, you do have to time it if you want it to go off every time. But Shield of Regrowth is going to allow us to get a lot more chase down potential and allow us to get the hell out of there even faster when we switch to Benevolence Aura. It's also going to give us more cooldown reduction. You know, can't argue with that. As well as the power and protection is going to be really useful. And it is cheap as hell at $1,800. So it is just an excellent item. We're going to go ahead and get that fourth. Now after you get Shield of Regrowth, the next item you're going to get is Ankyle. Ankyle is going to give you 25 more power, 60 magical protection, and 10% more cooldown reduction. So with this item, our cooldown is going to be maxed. And as I've talked about before, what it does is whenever you take magical damage from an enemy ability, you unleash a shockwave that silences all enemies within 30 units for 1 second. That can only trigger once every 60 seconds. So what that means is when Ankyle goes off, you're going to silence all enemies within 30 units of you whenever you take magical damage. Since you are a frontliner and you are just always up in people's faces, this thing's going to be proccing a lot. And that gives you 60 seconds. You have a hidden silence in your arsenal. You go up and you silence them for 1 second, and they think, oh, their silence is blown. I'm going to start channeling. If they channel a magical ability, they're just going to get silenced right the hell back if your Ankyle is up. So that's a nice little bonus silence, and it's going to allow you to really put a huge lockdown on channeling gods and gods that need their abilities to really do anything. So, and also the power, protection, and cooldown reduction is really nice. So that is what we're going to get fifth. Now the last item we're going to get is going to be a little bit of a toss-up. And that is going to be one of these two things, or one of these three things. You can get Stone of Gaia. It's not usually that useful in the late game, but the health is really nice, and we do have some healthy, we do have things that are giving us health. So Stone of Gaia can be useful if you just really want to stay in the lane for freaking ever. You can get Stone of Gaia. Or you can pick up another defensive option, such as Genji's Guard or Hide of the Nemean Lion. You can pick that up as well. What I tend to do, however, at this point, is I like to pick up either Frostbound Hammer, or I don't know why it's not here again, and that's making me angry. You can pick up Frostbound Hammer or Titan's Bane. If you've fallen into a more supporty role by the end game, you're more into locking people down. You can get Frostbound Hammer to get 25 physical power, another 300 health, and it's going to cause enemies hit by your basic attacks to have the movement speed reduced by 30% and attack speed by 15% for 1.25 seconds. So with your Benevolence Aura and Frostbound Hammer, there ain't no way in hell they're going to get away from you. You know what I'm saying? So you can really lock someone down with this. However, if you're finding yourself in more of a damage dealing role, you're the one really finishing people off, you can go for Titan's Bane to give you 30 physical power and give you 33% physical penetration. That's going to allow you to chew through the tanky targets just a little bit faster, as well as up your damage on the squishies as well, because everybody's got some protections. So you can get Titan's Bane to help you just chew through those defenses a little bit better if you're serving as the damage dealer. It's really up to you. It just depends on what's going on in the fight at this point. I usually end up getting Frostbound Hammer because by the end game your damage is not as good as your ADC, obviously. So I usually end up getting Frostbound Hammer so that I can fall into a more supporting role and let my ADC, really do what they do best. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go with Frostbound Hammer. Now we've taken a look at her items. I should also mention actually one last thing. Instead of Ankyle, you can choose to get Runeforged Hammer if you know you're going Frostbound. And that is because while you're not going to get the cooldown, you are going to get a lot of health, more power, and it's going to cause enemies within 30 units of you to take 10% more damage from all sources. That stacks with your passive aura. So that means with Frostbound and Runeforged, they're taking 10% more damage from your passive and 10% more damage because they're slowed. That's 20% more damage. That is freaking huge how much more damage that is dealing. So instead of Ankyle, you can go straight in your 5th item, get Frostbound, then in your 6th get Runeforged. I don't typically do that because I like having the cooldown, but hey, it's a neat combo that you can certainly try. It's a lot of fun to do. It's not what I usually end up doing, but man, when I do, it is a ton of fun. As far as relics go, there's obviously Purification. I don't usually get Sanctuary. It is helpful in the early game, but by the end game, you're going to be probably tanky enough to where you won't really need it anymore, especially with your mirror giving you that damage mitigation. So what I usually end up getting is Curse. When you have Curse, you can activate Curse right before you use your Dazzling offensive, and that's going to slow them down and prevent them from being able to get out of range of your ultimate. So Curse is a really, really good item to pick if you want a more offensive, I lock you the hell down build. You can also get Shell. Shell is going to, before you activate Dazzling Offensive, you can activate your Shell just so they can't really hurt you that much. And you can just absorb more damage. Shell is also generally useful if you want to be just an in-your-face, smacking up warrior. You can activate Shell so you can really go in there and deal a massive hurt, and they won't be able to do as much damage to you. Meditation isn't the worst choice. It makes you more of a support. It's going to allow you to restore health and mana to nearby allies. And then, of course, there's Purification, because if they have a CC heavy team, this is really the only option you've got. So I would pick one of these 4. I usually go Curse, then Shell. Generally. Not always, but that's usually what I do. As far as consumables go, you got your Healing Potion, Mana Potion, Ward, and we're going to go Elixir of Defense on this one, not Power. While Power is really nice, remember that your abilities don't scale that well off of your Power, but your defense can always be nicer. So we're going to go Elixir of Defense just so we can really up our defensive potential and make it that much harder for enemies to take us out, so we are a constant threat on the battlefield. Now that we've taken a look at her items, let's take a look at how we're going to level Amaterasu. So there are a couple of different ways that you can level Amaterasu. We're going to be looking at maximizing her sustain and her wave clear just so you can stay in lane as long as possible. What we're going to do is the first thing you're going to end up getting is your aura. You want that first. The reason you want it first, I know you're level 1, I know you want some wave clear, but you'll get to level 2 eventually. You want that divine presence because you want to be able to switch and heal. That's why you want it. You need to be able to switch and heal. Also getting a little more power or a little more movement speed can really, really make a difference if there's an early game gank going on. As well as the fact that it really helps your whole team. That's the point. Is if you're in a gank situation and you got 2 of your allies with you, they're getting that bonus as well. So we're going to go for the aura first, just so in case of an early game, situation you got to deal with, you can buff your whole team. The next thing we're going to get at level 2 is going to be Heavenly Reflection. The reason for that is now we're starting to build our wave clear. Now at level 2, we're going to start building our wave clear, getting some of that really nice bonus damage on that mirror and upping that damage mitigation. We're also going to level this one first. So that's what we're going to pick up at level 2. At level 3, you're going to pick up Glorious Charge. And now you can level this second, but we're not. We're going to level it third, and I'll get to why in just a minute. But we are going to level this third. We're going to mainly be using it for the silence, not for the damage. Now, here's the deal. We're going to level Heavenly Reflection first for the wave clear, for the mitigation, and for the big burst that you can do with it. The second thing we're going to level is Divine Presence. The reason for that is the bonus power and the bonus movement speed is so dadgum useful to your team in the mid game that is just too good to pass up. Yes, Glorious Charge does get a really nice power bonus, but the benefit you'll be giving to your team with Divine Presence is so tremendous, and you have so much team fight potential that in the mid game you're going to want that buff so you can really take charge in the mid game and help your allies just get them all buffed and have them just slam through the enemies. That's what I'm talking about. So that's why we're going to level Divine Presence second and not third, is so we can buff our team. The last thing we're going to level is Glorious Charge. I know it's unfortunate. The damage is really nice, but we just really want that buff going as soon as we can, as well as getting that heal going. So we're going to level Glorious Charge third. Again, if you want to level it second, you're in the solo lane, or you're just a lone wolf, you can go Glorious Charge second and get a little bit more damage out of it. But for a team player, you're going to want Divine Presence second. And then we're going to pick up Glorious Charge last. Now, of course, you're going to take Dazzling Offensive at every opportunity because the damage just gets really daggum good. You know, you're getting 50 more damage per strike, which means you're doing 150 more damage with if you hit all 3 times with each level. So we're going to pick it up at every possible opportunity. Now that we've taken a look at how to build and level Amaterasu, let's take a look at how she's going to perform in combat. Alright, now let's take a look at what Amaterasu can do in combat. First we're going to do is pick up our Warrior Tabi, and then we're going to go ahead and pick up our Curse so that when we get our ultimate, we can slow them to a crawl and make sure that we're going to hit them with all 3 strikes. Remember, that's really important. When you use your ultimate, you gotta hit with all 3. If you miss a single one, your ultimate just lost almost all of its major effectiveness. So keep that in mind. Now here in the early game, we're going to start in Benevolent Stance, and we're just going to stay in Benevolent Stance until we need to switch. At this point, the movement speed is pretty nice, but also we want to save that switch for when we need the health. So don't bother switching until you need the health, or you really need to go whole ham in and get some major damage going. So I was just taking a look at what's up in that lane real quick. So let's go ahead and hang back here. We're going to wait for them to come in here. They come right here. Right now, in the beginning of the game, we don't have a whole lot of health or mana, so we're going to try and stay back unless we're totally needed, which happens to be right now. We are going to charge up our mirror right here. We let it go a little bit early, but that's okay because we're just trying to get that kill right there. That's what I'm talking about. We're not going to be able to get that Hercules. We do not want to pursue in the tower once again. But as you can see, on your little passive bar, when your mirror is charging, that yellow circle will slowly fill up. Once it fills up the entirety of the mirror, congratulations, you have full charge and are going to deal approximately double damage. Not quite as much because the charge doesn't get the scaling bonus from your physical power. So we're just going to hang out here. We do not want to enter that tower, even with them there, because that's just really, really stupid and can get you killed really fast. So we're just going to hang out here for when we are needed. Looks like our Thor there is getting messed up. What we're going to do is we're going to step in here. We're going to charge our mirror just so we can get that. Now there you just saw it was fully charged. And we released that mirror when it was fully charged. And look at all that damage it dealt to them right there. That's what I'm talking about. We were able to dissuade them from pursuing our Thor by building our mirror, getting some damage mitigation going on, being able to really tank some of these hits. Let's charge our mirror again, see if we can't hit this collie. Oh, there we go. And we're going to hit that collie with our fully charged mirror. And it is going to kill her, but Hebo is able to follow up. And he's going to kick our ass. But we did get quite a few kills out of that. I'll take that as a win. Let's go ahead and finish off our Warrior Tabi, and we're going to start building our Hide of the Urchin. Now, we're going to do Hide of the Urchin this time because it's one of the easiest items to build, and it just gives you a lot of tankiness, a lot of health, and a lot of mana. It's just a generally good all-around option. So we're going to take our Hide of the Urchin, or at least we're going to start building it. Then we're going to head back in the lane. Okay, we got some stuff going on here. Let's see if we can use our ultimate effectively. Switch to Valor Stance, activate the mirror, then you're going to go all in with your ultimate. You're going to slam in the face, release the charge on the mirror. Didn't quite kill her, but our auto attack is able to follow up. And then we're going to, and that Bacchus is going to kill that Ares right there. That's what I'm talking about. So that's how you're going to use your ultimate. If you come up from behind, switch to your Valor Stance so you are getting the power bonus. Activate your mirror, then go whole ham in with your ultimate. And that stun was able to absolutely wreck into that Artemis's face, and we destroyed her with our fully charged mirror we got because we activated it before we used the ultimate. Now we're just going to stand back here in lane. Oop, that Hebo is so annoying. Oh, we got a Bastet right here. Let's charge our mirror. We're going to build it up. We're going to release it. Oh, we missed the Hebo, but we did hit the Hercules. Not a total loss. Let's just try and capitalize if we can get that Hercules. Yes, we can. Let's hit this. Oh, we can hit him one more time. Let's just see if we can get that. Oh, we're going to dash in. Okay, so what we were doing right there is we managed to get those auto attacks on that Bastet, got her killed. Hebo was getting away, so we used our dash just to catch up to that final little bitty tick of damage and be able to capitalize. All right, now we have finished our Hide of the Urchin. We're going to start building our Jotun's Wrath, and we're going to head back out into lane. So here we are heading. Let's go left lane here. All right, we're going to go left lane. Okay, let's see if we can't get this Artemis. So this is how you're going to use your ultimate when you're up against a single opponent. You're going to switch to your Valor stance. Then you're going to activate your mirror, and you're going to go in. Look, it is fully charged already. Come up, hit her in the face, let the mirror go off, and that is going to get that full kill. Now, sometimes you can land all three basic attacks, and if you do, remember that's going to give them that 10% damage vulnerability before your mirror goes off for even more damage. We weren't able to quite hit it. She was a little bit further away than I wanted. Oh, Ares going in whole ham. Ow. Took a boulder to the face. We're going to charge our mirror. We're going to release it. We're going to get that shot. Oh, and we wanted to pursue that Hercules, but we just couldn't because we were taking way too much damage. Oh, Bastet's little cats. Come on. Now, you see, normally Bastet's cats can keep up with you no matter where you go, but since we were in our benevolent stance, we were able to pretty much outrun them. That's always a nice little trick. So we're going to be in our benevolent stance. We're going to head back out in the lane. All right, let's see here. So, we have a Hebo over here on the right. We're going to see, he's staying near his tower. Oh, he's going around behind that. Let's see if we can't catch up to him. Okay, we're going to dash into him just to silence him real quick, and we're going to be able to easily pick up that kill because we silenced him, preventing him from using his initial splash. We were charging our mirror, but he got killed before we were able to really use it. So now we can step to these towers a little bit more. What we're going to do is we're going to walk up. We don't have our mirror yet, but now we do. We're going to charge our mirror, and we're going to use our ultimate. We're going to stun her, release our mirror, and that's going to get that kill right there. Looking for an opportunity to hit both of them. Try and hit both of them if you can with every swipe of your sword, just so you can stun both of them and so you can deal a little bit more damage. We're going to switch to Valor stance now, obviously, because we are attacking a tower. I mean, oh, well, that was just perfect, wasn't it? Good job, Thor. So what we're going to do here is we're going to activate our mirror. We're going to try and build some damage. We're going to release it. Oh, it's not quite going to get him. We're not going to be able to catch up. We blew our dash trying to catch up to him. Here's an Artemis right here. We're just going to deal some little bit of damage. All right, so we're going to land that last basic attack, and it is going to get that Artemis killed. So now now that that lane's taken care of, we're going to go back and protect this lane because they are moving up pretty dang fast. So now we're going to sit in this lane. We're going to switch back to our Valor stance. We're going to charge our mirror. And then we're just going to go ahead and release it into that. Well, I didn't quite get the Bastet. But we did dash past the Hercules. Can we please change to movement speed? But we just can't catch up. Oh, there's a Hercules right here. He is going whole ham on me. But see, he's not doing that much damage because we got all that healing from switching stances so often. So now we're going to head back. Use our benevolent stance to get us back in the lane quickly. And then we're going to go ahead and head back. Now let's finish up our Jotun's Wrath. And we're also going to start building our Shield of Regrowth. We're going to go ahead and build that now. So we can get that additional movement speed on the healing as well as the cooldown reduction. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now we're going to head back in the lane. We've got that 30% cooldown. We've got a decent amount of power right now. So now we can start forward to use our abilities a little more often. Let's switch to Valor stance and let's just go all in on these people. Oh, look at that. Landing that stun on Hebo. Maneuvering so our mirror shield hits both Hebo and Hercules. Able to waste that Hebo completely. And now we just have this Hercules to deal with. And he did take damage from our mirror. Using those angled shots to make sure you hit as many people as possible. All right, let's just go up on you. Let's charge our mirror. Let's build some damage. Let's release our mirror, and you're just going to get absolutely annihilated. That's what I'm talking about. You just can't take a fully charged Valor mirror to the face. All right, let's move in here. So here we don't have our ultimate. We're going to have to take these out the normal way. Let's build some charge on these dudes right here. And I was going to try and take out that line, but he just moved right into it, so why not take him out as well? So we were able to absolutely clear that wave and take out Ares at the same time. Let's just attack these dudes. We're just going to try and get these out of order. Oh, here's an Artemis. We're going to go ahead and dash to her. We're going to let that tower shot build our mirror, and then we're going to fire it and take out that Artemis. Then we're going to switch back to Benevolent Stance just to look at all that movement speed that we are getting from that Shield of Regrowth when our healing ability is active. That is just freaking awesome. We do have our ultimate back now, so we're going to switch to Valor Stance and we are going to activate it. Look at that. We are dealing so much damage. We just absolutely wrecked their face using our mirror to finish off that Hercules, land another basic attack, and he just can't step. So, man, we've just got a lot of money, so we're going to go ahead and head back, get some of our mana back. You know, let's actually do the Frostbound Hammer Runeforged Hammer combo. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, obviously, you could. Now, I'm only doing this because I'm really far ahead at this point. But normally at this point, you would pick up your Ankyle. We're also going to pick up Shell, so just in case we need it, we can activate it just to get a little bit more defense. But normally, you would get Ankyle at this point. Just to max out your cooldown and give you some power and physical protection. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Frostbound Runeforged combo. So we've got Frostbound already. Now we are slowing. We're going to go ahead and activate this ultimate. We're going to... Oh, we can't get the Ares, but that's okay. We're going to absolutely waste that Artemis, land another basic attack, and kill that Ares in the process. So I'm just going to head back here. We are going to just kind of... You know, just deal with these waves, just do some damage, trying to get them out of the way. Now let's go ahead and take out this tower. We can do this really easily at this point. And it's gone. So let's head over to right lane and see if we can't do something. Now, let's see if we can't dissuade these people from engaging. Let's activate a mirror and dash in. Let's mitigate all that damage. Oh, we have got a Bastet. Oh, we managed to kill her and her cats go down. That could have been a really dangerous situation, but because we got the kill, her cats did not pursue. That is always nice. We're going to switch back to Benevolent Stance just so we can get a little bit of that healing, charge up our mirror, throw it through just to clear that wave. And then we are going to kind of... Okay, so we can afford to go... Let's see if we can get these guys right here real quick. So we're going to use our Benevolent Stance so we can get there even faster. Then once we're here, we're going to switch to our Valor Stance. And we're going to curse them down. Oh, he didn't go in the way I expected. We're just going to go ahead and ult this Artemis. Absolutely kick her ass. We are going to be able to throw a mirror through and hit that Hebo. And he is going to get absolutely wasted. That is what I'm talking about. Even though we didn't land the ult on him, we were able to use that charge mirror, using it accurately to be able to kill his ass. Now we just charged our mirror with those shots from the Phoenix, which allowed us to build charge really, really fast, throw a full charge mirror shot through that Ares, managed to take him out as well. Now we're going to head back to base. We're going to go ahead and get that Runeforged Hammer, just so I can show you that the damage on it does actually get pretty daggum significant. We don't quite have enough. I'm sorry, I misread. We're going to go ahead and pick up 2 pieces of it anyway. So now we're going to head back out. Let's see here. Let's go ahead. Let's just take out this camp real quick. This is how you're going to take out camps. Just charge your mirror as you're hitting them, and then when your mirror's fully charged, just release it, and at this point in the game, it'll just kill them. So now we're going to head back out in the lane. We're going to switch to Benevolent Stance. Probably should have done that from the get-go, but oh well. So we're going to head back out. Ooh, we got an Ares right here. We're going to just lay some hits on him. Look, he is slowed by a Frostbound Hammer. We're going to go ahead and use our ultimate, and that is going to... Oh, and we do land the stun. And that is going to allow us to kill that Ares really quick there. Angled it at the last second just so we could get both of them with that one stun. Killed Artemis outright. Let's go ahead and dash into that. Oh, man, we just didn't activate our mirror on time. Did not activate the mirror on time. Oh, well. Look at this. That Hercules is getting slowed because of our Frostbound Hammer. He was getting away, so I used my dash to catch up. Ooh, there's a Bastet right there, but I don't really want to pursue her. She's probably heading back to base anyway. So let's go ahead and actually pick up our Runeforged Hammer at this point. We're going to switch to Benevolent Stance, and then we're going to head back out in the lane using the insane healing speed, or the insane speed from our Shield of Regrowth, just to give us that little bit more oomph, a little bit more movement speed, allow us to get back in the lane that much faster. Let's see, we do have our ultimate. Let's see if we can't use it. Switch to Valor Stance, activate our mirror. We're going to go in whole ham. We're going to try and hit both of them. We don't hit both of them. Oh, that Artemis actually survived, but not for long enough. Okay, now we're going to hit him. Look, 134, 71, 148. And now it's 163, 148. Oh, look at that. We are getting that damage bonus due to our Runeforged Hammer and our basic attack acting together. That is a really nice amount of bonus damage that we are able to really capitalize on. Switch back to Benevolence just so we can get to this lane a little bit faster. Give our allies some movement speed so they can get out of here, but they don't get out of here. We're going to go ahead and charge up our mirror by taking all that damage. We're going to throw it through, and we're going to get both of them because they were at the proper angle. With our Frostbound Hammer, that Hercules just could not get away. Now we're just going to go and we're going to just wail on this Phoenix in Valor stance. Now we are doing a pretty daggum significant amount of damage. Obviously, the Phoenix isn't getting damage from our Runeforged Hammer combo, but whatever. We are able to build up charge really quickly off of those minions and just throw it through the line and take them out almost immediately. Now let's see if we can't do the same thing over here. So what we're going to do, let's see if we can't work on... let's just take out the Phoenix. Let's just go ahead and take out this Phoenix. We're going to switch to Valor Stance so we can give our allies a little bit more power. Then we're going to head in here and... let's just take out the Sea Bow real quick. And then let us... Oh, this Artemis just can't get away from our Frostbound Hammer. That is what I'm talking about. Let's go in here. Let's just use that partial charge just to deal damage to this Titan. And we're just going to wail on this Titan in Valor Stance so that all our... there's a Bastet right there. Let's go ahead and catch up to her. We're going to slow her down with the Frostbound Hammer Runeforged combo. She's just getting absolutely wasted. Look at this. You're just too slow. You're just too slow. You're taking so much damage just because you can't get away. You're just too slow. You're taking too much damage with our Runeforged Hammer Frostbound combo, and you're just going to get wasted. You probably should have headed back to base, but you didn't. Okay, now it's just wail on this Hercules. That Hercules is slowed by a Runeforged Hammer combo. He just can't get away. Oh, and looks like they took charge of the Phoenix as well. Now they probably should have turned and fought me. Should have shoulder checked me or something, but he didn't. So that is basically how you are going to play Amaterasu. You're going to make sure you are in mind of what stance you are in, giving your allies the bonus you need, whether you need to catch up or you need to get the hell out of there. You're going to use Benevolent stance. When you really need to pump out the damage for you and your team, you're going to use Valor stance. So, and obviously you're going to use your ultimate and you're going to try and angle it so you can hit the most people possible. But if you can't hit everyone, just hit someone. Make sure you get all 3 hits so your last hit is going to land that stun. And that is the key to playing Amaterasu. Well, I hope you found this video educational and informative. I love it when you guys hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment if you'd like. And y'all have a good one now. You hear?